Hello, Impact Speakers. Daryl Ross here. Thank you for joining me. Gotta tell you a quick story. I met up with a buddy of mine at Starbucks. Now, he's from the corporate world, just came back from a huge corporate conference. I'm sure you've been to those before with all these exhibitors, tons of people. And he said there was a guest speaker. And he told me that he's inspired now. He wants to be a speaker. He wants to make a career change. You know, he knows that I coached. And I was like, well, let me hear about this. What's going on? And he goes, do you know my company paid that guy $20,000? I would make that kind of money. I want to be a speaker. And I was like, wait a minute. You had me at first. You said you were inspired. I thought you meant like from his message or his speech. You shifted to his speaking fee. So I had to give him a little insight on the speaking industry. So he inspired me to give you the 5 reasons you should not be a professional speaker. So I talked about with him at Starbucks, so I'll share it with you. I typed these in my laptop and bring these up right now. All right, so the 5 reasons you should not be a professional speaker. Number 1, you think you'll get big paychecks. Well, look, it's possible. I'm not going to doubt anyone's ability. I do know people commanding that $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 speaking fee, but look, most don't. Matter of fact, I looked up the speaker that went to his conference. First of all, he has a national best-selling book. He speaks directly to their industry, and he has courses for leadership for their teams to get better. So you have to understand the value you're bringing in. Most speakers really bring in more than just the speech. So your speaker fee kind of goes up with more value you add. You're not going to get up there and speak for the first time and command $20,000. But look, you can definitely move up the chain and make more money, but don't go into it thinking you're going to get the huge paycheck right off the bat, because you probably won't. All right. Number 2, you think you get to speak in front of huge crowds. Well, I gotta be honest, that's kind of relative, right? Depending on who you are. 2,000 people might be huge to you, but if you're Tony Robbins, you're disappointed, right? He speaks to 10,000 people at a time. So huge crowds is a relative word. And by the way, if you're focused more on the huge crowds, that tells me you're at the wrong mindset. So you're thinking about the photo, right? You're thinking about that image you can put on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook of you in front of all those people. And don't get me wrong, I think it's great when speakers post pictures. I love that too. But if that's your reason for getting in it, it's the wrong mindset. I literally can speak in front of 10 people and really be empowered. It doesn't matter. I'll be honest, my largest crowd, about 3,000. That's really it. But most of my crowds are in the hundreds, 100 on down. So have the right mindset to really impact and make a difference in the lives of those in front of you. Don't worry about how large the crowd is, all right? Number 3, you get to speak and leave. And that's really deceiving, because there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. On the surface, it might look like the speaker came in, spoke for an hour and left. But behind the scenes, all kind of preparation, everything from meetings, negotiations, you practicing, making your craft better, your slide deck, everything going into it. So there's a lot more than just that presentation. So don't think for a minute that all you do is get up there and speak and you get to leave. There's way more to it than that. Number 4, once you have a good speech, you're done. Now, I gotta be honest, I've actually heard that before. See, I go to conferences still for myself. I'll go to a speaker conference or marketing conference to make myself better. And I've heard professional trainers say that. They'll say, you should learn one speech. Just one speech. You go around to different organizations and share your one speech. Don't develop all these different speeches. And I gotta be honest, I was kind of troubled by that. I was always thinking, you know, what if that company wants to hire you back? What are you going to do, the same speech again? Now, let me clarify. If you're speaking in the college market, for example, and you're doing orientation, yeah, you can do the same speech because you have a new crowd each year, right? But typically, most corporations have a lot of the same employees. You want to come back. I've developed, 10, 12 different speeches, and you can do the same thing, but start with just 2. Have your core speech, whatever that one is, and then just work on the next level speech off of that one. That way, you can offer your client the next step, the next level. You piggyback off that first speech. So it works really well. So if nothing else, have your core speech and then at least one more so you can kind of get booked again to come back. So don't think you just need one speech and you're done. I always say, keep being a student, keep developing, bring on more content. Number 5, I don't need to invest anything to start and grow a huge speaker business. And that's absolutely false. Look, I know why that mindset's out there, because usually your first speech, think about about it, was probably something at school, maybe church, maybe you ran the meeting at work and you got the buzz going. So you're not really thinking about the investment, but the speaker industry is a business like any other business. So there is investment. Now, I will clarify this. It's not like a brick and mortar. I do get that. You know, my brother started a pack mail store. So it's like a UPS store, but pack, P-A-K, and they ship all over the world, much like a UPS store. So I called my brother up to ask him, you know, what was your initial investment? How'd you get started with your pack mail store? And he said he had to get an SBA loan for about $125,000. What? So imagine $125,000 you've invested. You've got to get your power up, all your equipment in your store, hire employees, and you haven't sold one thing yet. So it's not quite like that, but yes, you have to invest in yourself. And I often say, you're not, buying things or you have to pay for that. Invest in yourself, whether it's training for yourself, whether it's for your website, marketing. Bottom line is there is investment if you want to get better. It's really easy for clients to see what speaker invested in themselves and what speaker did not. So don't think for a second you don't need to invest anything. So quick recap and the 5 reasons you should not be a professional speaker. Number 1, you think you'll get big paychecks. So look, even though you can make a great living in the speaking industry, don't go into it for that reason. Go into it for the heart to serve and make a difference in the lives of those in front of you. Number 2, you think you get to speak in front of huge crowds. Like I mentioned, that's relative. Doesn't matter if it's 10 people, 25, or 2,500. Think of each individual person and why you can make a difference with your message and your content, not about how many are out there. Number 3, you get to speak and leave. There's much more to it than that, from preparation, negotiating, practicing yourself. There's way more than just that 60-minute speech that you're seeing. Number 4, once you have a good speech, you're done. I don't believe in that. I think you should always be a student and continue to develop, have your core speech, and at least have the piggyback speech off of that. So work to get at least 2 speeches in your tool belt. And number 5, you don't need to invest anything to start and grow a huge speaker business. That's absolutely false. There is investment, time, money to make yourself and your product, you're the product, much better. So those are 5 reasons you should not be a professional speaker. Here's some reasons that you should. You have a heart for this. You know your message can impact people, make a difference. God's tapping you on the shoulder to say, hey, get your story out there. If that's you, get in this industry. We need more of us. I believe speakers shouldn't be in competition. We should have camaraderie. If we're speaking at the same event, you know what I feel? Great, because the audience will be impacted. My style is different from your style. Your stories are different from my stories. We can make a difference in their lives. So I'm going to be a resource for you. I have a brand new webinar called The 8 Markets That Pay You to Speak. I tell you what, if I had this years ago, I'd be so thrilled because I knew about 2 markets, the youth market and corporate. That was it. But there are a lot more markets out there. Maybe you can see this can help you as well. So it's about 30 minutes. So close the door, turn the phone off, tell your loved ones you're kind of busy. I take a deep dive into 8 different markets. I also tell you who to contact for the speech and the topic you should focus on if you want to lean into that market. Can't wait for you to see it. Leave me some comments. Let me know if this was helpful for you or not. Put your name and email below and watch the webinar, all right? Thanks for hanging out with me today. God bless you. I'll see you next time.